Most traders don't lose because their strategy is bad. They lose because they enter too early, before the weekly candle actually confirms. Today I'm going to show you the one mistake that causes 95% of traders to fail and how to fix it using the weekly candle entry model. Over the last few weeks, I've shown you how powerful the weekly candle really is. Reversals, continuations, direction, bias. But here's what I noticed. Even after understanding the weekly candle, most traders are still missing the trade. Why? They enter inside the weekly range. They anticipate instead of wait. They trade bias instead of confirmation. The weekly candle gives you context, but context alone doesn't make you money. Entries do. Let's quickly reset the logic. The weekly candle does one job. It defines where liquidity is resting. It tells you where patience is required. Institutions don't trade inside the weekly candle. They wait for liquidity to be taken first. That's the rule most traders ignore. Step number 1, mark the weekly high and low. Every week starts the same way. You mark the high and the low of the previous weekly candle. This is where the liquidity rests, where traps form, and where direction is decided. Step number 2, wait for the sweep and failure. This is where 95% of traders get impatient. You wait for price to sweep the weekly high or low and fail to continue. Price must return back inside the weekly range. No sweep equals no trade. No failure equals no entry. This alone filters most losing trades. Step number 3, enter only on confirmation. Once price returns inside the weekly range, now and only now, we look for entries. Your confirmation options are either a CISD break or a fair value gap inversion. Stop losses go above or below the sweep, and you're going to target the next most relevant liquidity levels. Bias comes from the weekly candle. Entries come from confirmation. That's the separation most traders never make. Here we are on the charts, and I wanted to show you a live example so you can get a better idea exactly how this works. If you look at the chart, you can see on the right here we have the higher time frame candles. This is the weekly candles, and you can see the previous weekly high. We got this major rejection by the current weekly high, and price has gone back into the range. So this is a very strong sign that we're getting rejection into this weekly high point, which is signified at this level over here. Also notice that this is the previous week high. Look at the resistances we get at that level. Price comes up, gets rejection, rejection. You can see it breaks above, gets support, support, then rejection again. So it shows you price is respecting this weekly level. These are significant levels you really want to pay attention to. You can see we get the failure to displace, and this is showing us there's this rejection to that level. And all we need to do is learn to mark out the CISD. And this is the CISD level because this is the candle or series of candles that causes this sweep. Can you see it sweeps the high, then it falls back into the range. So we mark this level. And when price breaks the CISD, this is a confirmation for us to look for our short position. So you will enter on the close of that candle. Stop losses will become on the high points. Our targets are going to be targeting the lower liquidity areas. The main thing I wanted to show you is that you can see when you get this rejection from the previous week high, and then you're able to mark out the CISD. This is what gives us our confirmation for our entries. This can be entered on multiple different time frames. The time frames I like to use for entries are either going to be a 15-minute, a 5-minute, or a 1 hour. This is the SMCX indicator I was talking about that marks out the sweeps, marks out the CISD. It shows you the higher time frame and the lower time frame at exactly the same time, helping you to discover these patterns and entry signatures. If you want to learn more about the SMCX indicator, click the link below. Otherwise, mastering the CISD is going to be super important in understanding this strategy. If you want to understand the CISD better, make sure to watch this next video right now. Click this link to understand the missing link, which is the CISD.